Hey everyone. Social anxiety used to control every aspect of my life. I was that kid, the weird one that didn't fit in, constantly bullied for being different. I'd shake uncontrollably at social events and felt this overwhelming sense of loneliness and isolation. Then life threw me another curveball. A serious car accident left me with an injury that left me bedridden in chronic pain. And I was unable to even look at a screen or sit at the computer without agony. My career in software development gone, my mental health it was spiraling. But here's the thing, that rock bottom moment became my turning point. Through personal development and what I later learned was a form of exposure therapy, I slowly rebuilt. What started as one small meetup group for people with generalized anxiety grew into something I never imagined. Fast forward today, I've spoken in New York City boardrooms, received recognition from the president, and built communities in 50 chapters worldwide. And the surprising part, that journey from self improvement to helping others became the motivation that healed me. So if you're struggling right now, feeling broken or lost like I was, stick around because I'm going to share with you exactly how I transformed my life and how you can too. You're not broken, you just haven't found the right tools yet. Segment Fox 17 News did. I've been on Fox 17 News twice, and also a couple other TV stations here locally. Um, So, give you a little bit about my story. Like I said, I have the condition that used to be called Asperger's. I'm in the autism spectrum. Just was diagnosed a few years ago, a couple years ago. Met with a neuropsychologist 3 times. I always grew up different, and we didn't have diagnoses back then. I just thought I was broken or the weird kid. I was very smart, had a high IQ, but sometimes I put my foot in my mouth, say weird things. I'd have weird ideas compared to everybody else, and I was pretty severely bullied because of it. Um, so I started my first business doing websites when I was 16, and then that became what I wanted to do in life. I went into software development, web development, loved doing it. Did that for so long, got in a car accident. Eventually, that that injury got so bad that I had to stop being a software developer that was about beginning of 2016. That was a freaking year of pain just every day. Most of the days of the week I was bedridden. I'd go to the ER once a month. I was having horrible neck pain, chronic migraines, just about every day, and they'd break it up for a couple of days and it would start right back up. Um, but eventually, I just could not be on the computer. I couldn't use a phone. I couldn't use a tablet without being in a ton of pain. So I kind of had to go cold turkey off the online world. You saw I was spending like 12 hours or more a day on video games just because I was so lonely. Um, and just being online all the time. And really, it wasn't a happy way to live. I mean, you get those dopamine hits. You feel like you're talking to people online. You maybe have a false sense of connection or something like that. But really, I got cut off cold turkey, and I was still online a little bit. But I had discovered Meetup a while ago, and this is maybe when I discovered Meetup several years before that. And I'd started my first group in 2014, but I had everything taken away by this car accident, my health, and I got ill after that. Couldn't do too much. It was kind of hopeless in life, just being in so much pain. Um, so running, I started a meetup group a couple years ago, a couple years before West Michigan Geeks, and then I started one in 2016 for introverts and shy people and socially anxious people like I was. And I always tell my story of when I went to my first event. This was maybe 2011. It was a board game group. I shook the whole time. I could not say a word to anybody. Played a game for an hour and left. I might have said hi to the organizer, but then every time it got a little bit easier to go. And eventually I reached out for the right help. And I'll go over what some of those tools that I found was. Um, but fast forward, now it's been 10, 11 years since 2014, and we've got 50 chapters. We've had 100 volunteers over 10, 11 years. Our volunteer Vicky is in the audience. Great organizer in East Michigan. And we've almost did 4,500 events. Um, so this became my new purpose. This was my reason for staying alive, running all these free groups to help people. And my concern right now is how do I scale that up? I mean, we just got an awesome new organizer in Portugal, partnered with the Octopus Movement, who I'm chief of global affairs for. It's a think tank in Europe. It's a group for neurodivergent people in Portugal. Excel, the photographer, she does a great job there for us. I got to get over to Lisbon and see them all. That's one of the goals. But my goal is to open up these groups, all these free groups and free services for people all over the world that are socially anxious and shy, or maybe on the spectrum, struggle with ADHD, people just all like us. That's kind of the dream. Eventually 50 groups, maybe even 100 groups, 100 leaders around the world, help a million people in the next 10 years. So I guess why should you trust me when it comes to social anxiety and this kind of stuff, besides the fact that I have studied it for years and I was a socially anxious person and overcame it. So trusted by some thought leaders. Here's what my buddy Bob Berg, one of the greatest mentors I had. He mentored me for 2 years, twice a week. Him and the other go-givers. Bob Berg sold 1.2 million books, but he said, aside from being a very talented person, entrepreneur, David's simply one of life's really good human beings. I'm honored to be able to call him a friend and colleague. That kind of makes me choke up a little bit. I flew down to Florida to see Bob. Awesome meeting that. It was like a dream come true meeting him. Oh, this is my buddy David Siegel, former CEO of Meetup. I was on their podcast and then we kind of became friends after that. The podcast aired in early 21. We emailed back and forth and I had a little surprise. My mom died in 22, worst time of my life. But they, what Meetup had sent me a invitation in 22, a month after my mom died. And they're like, oh, we want you to come to our private 20th anniversary. It's in Manhattan. I'd never been in New York. I didn't believe I could go to New York. Just too many people, too busy of a city. And I talked with my brother and I'll tell you what my brother said to me. He said, you know, you got to take chances in life. And I don't want you to be 85 years old and always wonder what could have been. Look on your back in your life and said, oh, if only I would have went to that party. But David heard I was going to the party. And he said, you're going to give a speech. You're going to represent all the organizers out of a couple 100,000 organizers. I'm picking you to give that speech. And so that was quite an honor. That was quite an honor. And I didn't give it a speech in years, man. I shook the whole time, but people said they could not tell I was nervous. Finally, I got recognized by the President of the United States several times. President Biden, grateful for the recognition. Letter from President Biden said, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to you for your volunteer leadership. Love volunteering. I love leadership. Want to help as many people as I can. So in summary, recognized by President Biden. Oh, I've forgotten to mention Points of Light. That was started by President George H.W. Bush in 1989. They examined everything we've done the past 10 years. They declared me a point of light, permanent title I could use, sent me a big certificate. You know, Bob Berg's my buddy. I love Bob Berg. He inspired me. His books taught. Read all of Bob Berg's books. So actually, David Siegel also kind of called me the founding Meetup brand ambassador in 2023 for what I'd accomplished on their platform. I'm chief of global affairs for Octopus Movement think tank in Amsterdam. It's a nonlinear think tank. We want to come up. We want to use neurodivergent, nonlinear people to come up with new solutions for global issues. Some of the problems they've worked on is some things for NASA, some things about how trust can be reestablished in the modern age. How do we determine truth when it comes to like AI and misinformation things? So we have a lot of cool meetings, work on a lot of cool problems. Again, International Friend Connection. We built that from the ground up, one group in Grand Rapids to 50 chapters all over the world. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, but this is going to be about you. It's all about you. And this is something I seriously believe about everybody because I was lost. I know what it's like to feel lost. And I know what it's like to feel broken, but I want to assure you that you're not broken. Maybe you just haven't taught the right tools or your brain thinks differently